Hello and welcome to the Game Theory Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie. Today, we're going to do a final mock draft 1 day out from the 2026 NBA draft. We will also be discussing some of the moves here up top that have already occurred, because what in the world is that Trae Young contract, guys? I'm so confused. I'm very confused by what the Washington Wizards tactics are right now. Bryce, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, Sam? I am ready for the NBA draft 24 hours from now. I'm ready for us to just be there and actual selections to be made and us to be able to analyze them and see how they match up with our boards. I am excited to do one more mock here tonight, the night before. I think this will be fun. And the offseason has started, right? I think I was keeping my little Google sheet updated of all the offseason names. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 of those players re-signed, and one of those players traded already. And it's only June 22nd. So we are fully in NBA offseason, and Giannis hasn't even been traded yet, but we're still getting news and let alone the coaching hire that happened today as well.
I think that's exactly right. Let's start with that coaching hire. Dusty May has left the Michigan Wolverines and gone to the Dallas Mavericks. Bryce, this is an exciting one, because I think Dusty is going to be a good NBA coach, to be honest with you. He has the right temperament for it. He is a guy that is like willing to kind of go with the flow, but also really smart, connects with his players at a really high level. I think this is a home run kind of signing for the Mavericks. Like, I have every belief in Dusty May being a good NBA coach. It's also like, I just want to stop here and say, this is an amazing rise, by the way. Like, we're 3 years out from him being the head coach at Florida Atlantic. And now we're sitting here and Dusty May's an NBA coach. That's kind of amazing, don't you think?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And I think my initial reaction was like, yeah, I think this is going to work. Now, I will admit that I am always a little bit nervous whenever we take a coach from college and you put them into an NBA organization. And, you know, what is the temperament, the personality, all of those things. And, you know, dealing with NBA players and the egos and the personalities and all of that. And I assume it's going to work fine, but I do always wonder how that transition is going to be. But more than ever, college coaches are dealing with some of the same things, right? Because Dusty May was negotiating contracts the past few years, and players that make this much money versus players that make that much money versus players they recruited from another program versus trying to retain their players not to go to another program in the portal. So I do wonder, I would just be interested to track the success rate of college coaches making the jump to the NBA over the next handful of years, because maybe they've had a little bit more of an experience in terms of coaching players who are already making money, and that being part of the equation within their programs. I also would just say, like, I think I like what he did at Michigan. I liked what he did this last year. Like, that was a roster construction I was nervous about, right? Like, how are you going to start all of Yaxel, Merez, and Adai Mara? And he won a national championship in a very dominant fashion, playing all those guys together. I like a lot of stuff they do offensively at Michigan. So I am encouraged and excited to see that at the NBA level.
Yeah, like, has a very modern analytical mindset, Dusty May. Like, he's just a really smart guy in general. I think that he is somebody whose mind kind of caters toward the NBA a little bit, even above and beyond just the, you know, like the X's and O's and things like that, and the temperament factors, right? Like, he makes sure that his teams have a high 3-point rate. He makes sure his teams consistently get excellent ball movement. Like, he's willing to play at pace. They had the 22nd fastest pace this year in the country. Like, I think his game definitely plays up toward the NBA, to be honest with you. Like, I think Dusty is going to be a very good coach in the NBA. So
I will say the very first thing I thought of with the Mavericks in particular was the Yaxel, Merez, Adai Mara lineup that he had this last year at Michigan. And it's like, oh, we're definitely in store for Cooper Flagg at the 3, PJ Washington at the 4, Derek Lively at the 5 starting lineups this next season with Dallas. Like, I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but like that was the first like correlation that my mind went to whenever I saw the news.
Yeah, and someone asked here, will it change who they draft tomorrow, the Mavericks? And look, like I don't know the answer to that. I will say, like, one thing that immediately came to my mind when this happened, that like a connection that I maybe hadn't made before, was, you know, Mike Schmitz, who is the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, obviously played a massive role in drafting Hansen Young last year with the Portland Trailblazers. And now you have another big passing center in Adai Mara sitting there at number 9. I wonder if that's like a real possibility. I know that Dusty May like absolutely loves Merez Johnson as well. Like I think that, you know, Yaxel, like maybe he doesn't. The very funny thing is like, I think we said this during the Dallas conversation, but like, he doesn't totally fit the timeline for Cooper Flagg because he's a little bit older than Cooper, unfortunately. I think it'd probably be more likely to be Merez or Mara. And I've heard mixed things already from talking to teams around the league. I have Merez there right now in the mock. The more I've thought about like the Mike Schmitz idea and everything like that, I do wonder if it's more likely to be Mara, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've heard both at this point. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like I understand the immediate, hey, are the Michigan guys more likely to go there? Does it help one more than the other? My thought still though is like Dallas could use help in the backcourt. And I think Dusty May is a coach that will understand that as well. That even if he does want to play, you know, bigger with Cooper Flagg, PJ Washington in the center, that I think he would also understand, you know, and listen, they have Kyrie there. They have Max Christie there. They have Klay Thompson off the bench. I get all of that. But my guess is like Dusty May will also value, like Elliot Cadeau was a big part of that NCAA tournament run as well. And so I think Dusty May will also value having, you know, good backcourt players and how important that is to winning basketball also.
I think that's right. Okay. Next. The Washington Wizards
have the number 1 pick, Sam. The Washington Wizards have the number 1 pick. Let's skip over this and go to that.
The Washington Wizards have signed, or rather, according to Shams, intends to sign Trae Young to a 4-year, approximately $212 million deal to stay with the Washington Wizards, with a player option in year 4. 4-time NBA All-Star declined his $49 million player option for a long-term commitment ahead of free agency. Bryce? When you and I did the offseason preview for the Washington Wizards, which went live today, by the way, we said that we wouldn't go over 40 million. That was the idea. Like, okay, if Trae wants to decline the player option, then we're willing to say, we will give you a longer term commitment. We will make sure that you are taken care of. But we are not giving you $48 million. We are giving you less money than that. We said that 40 was like the number that we'd be comfortable with. And we said 3 years, not 4. 3 years is like, frankly, like what I'd been told when I'd been talking to people around the league. Now, I don't know, like when the thing I'm struggling with is who are you bidding against? There's realistically only one team it could have been. Like the only team that they could have been bidding against is Brooklyn, because Chicago feels like, you know, under Bryson Graham, Trae Young does not feel like a great Bryson Graham fit in terms of like wanting size, length, athleticism, physicality guys. And they already have Josh Giddey at the point. The Lakers are the other team that have potential cap space. They're the only teams that have this much cap space, potentially even. The Lakers might not even have it. And the Lakers already have Luka Doncic. So Brooklyn is like the only team you're bidding against. Why are you doing this now is my thing. Like, I get it that you're the Wizards and like your track record is maybe not elite in terms of like retaining talent. right? And if somebody says they're willing to be there for a longer term deal, you sign them. But I don't know, man. Like, I've done like an informal poll about this with people, right? Just like kind of asked around, right? And I've kind of sent around a statement like Trae Young is now the X worst contract in the NBA for the team. And by the way, shout out to his folks at CAA, like Aaron Mintz. I know his father's in that group. Like, they did an amazing job here. Like, the guys at CAA should be immensely proud of the work that they have done here. And Trae Young should be ecstatic. Like, I'm all for guys getting paid. Good work, Trae. But I mean, the consensus was this is like an immediate top 10 worst contract in the NBA, and like has potential to be worse than that.
You know what's funny? This was like, I would just rather have CJ McCollum on 1 year and $21 million right now if I'm the Wizards. Like, if I had to choose between these two situations,
I would too.
I would just rather have CJ on one. And I'm not saying CJ McCollum is better than Trae Young. Like, I'm not even making that
Trae Young
argument.
is a better player than CJ McCollum, 100%. But I'd rather have CJ on $20 million.
That's $28 million difference next year. That's, opportunity moving. Here's the point I made on the Wizards offseason preview, Sam. Why I didn't even love the idea of 3 years. In 29-30, every single player the Wizards have drafted other than the number 1 pick this year will be on their rookie extension contract. Unless like Trae Johnson and Will Riley are playing on the qualifying offer, on that final year. This is my concern, because you know what I think the next domino is, Sam? 2 or 3 more years to Anthony Davis. And now in 29...
I don't know if that's true or not. I would hope it's not, but you never know, I guess, right?
Yeah, like I truly don't know anything. Like I just, when these moves happened, I like them because, man, this could be a nice little short-term thing for the Wizards to have these two, all-star, sometimes all NBA level talents, help the young guys come along, and then you can move off of them, no problem, whatever. My worry is you get really expensive before you ever sign, and are still expensive when it comes time to pay Alex Sarr, potentially Bilal Coulibaly. I mean, and here's hopefully those guys are that expensive. You want that if you're the Wizards. You want those guys to turn into rookie max extension contracts. That means they, maximize what they are as players. If they don't, then this rebuild's probably not going to turn out super great anyway. So that's my issue with the length and the number.
My biggest issue is we haven't seen this team play together.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, they're committing a truly large amount of money to a team that has never seen Anthony Davis play for it, right? To a team that's going to be integrating one of AJ Debonsa or Darren Peterson. Seems like AJ Debonsa, but integrating one of those guys into the fold, right? So that's going to be a guy that takes up an immense amount of usage long term. We don't know if that guy works particularly well, Trae Young. Probably will, but we're not sure of that yet, right? And you're making this massive 4-year commitment with a player option. I am thrown on this. I'm genuinely pretty thrown on this. And this is not a comment on Trae Young, the player, but my biggest issue with this is we just saw what the rest of the league feels about Trae Young on the trade market.
Sam.
Right?
Go ahead.
We know how the league feels. The Atlanta Hawks could not get a draft pick back. They got basically Corey Kispert an expiring salary in the form of CJ McCollum. And CJ McCollum was really useful for them, don't get me wrong. But they couldn't even get a draft pick back for Trae Young on essentially an expiring deal. What makes you think that you're now going to, if it doesn't work out, right? If there is a conflict somehow in terms of the fit on the court between AJ DeBonsa and Trae Young, or if there is a conflict in terms of how Trae Young, Alex Sarr, Anthony Davis is like a triumvirate in ball screens work together, right? How does that work? Like, how do you get off of this contract now? You probably have to pay to get off of it at that point. And at that point, like, with the way that the aprons are, I don't know how easy that's going to be.
I had this same thought. Like, what I wonder, I haven't come up with one yet. I'm interested to see if a listener or a viewer at some point can give us an example. Maybe you already have one. What is the example of where a player got traded for what Trae Young got traded for and then essentially signed a max extension? Like, who is the max? I know we got a little bit less than the max number. I understand that. But who was the last player that got traded? Who got a max extension after getting traded and got traded for less than what Trae Young got moved for? Like, I just wonder if there's another example out there where something like this happened. Can I throw like something positive at the?
Yeah.
So here's trying to put the positive spin, because at the end of the day, now I feel like the Wizards are locked into Trae Young for 4 years. Like, I'm to your point here. I don't think
for 3.
Sure.
I would say.
If it's going to work for Trae Young, I think the Wizards have the potential players around him to make it work in terms of, we talked about the defense of Alex Sarr, the defense of Anthony Davis, the defense of Bilal Coulibaly, the defense of Keyshawn George, the length that they can play with. Like, that was my one thing, was if it is going to work, and Trae Young's a really, really good basketball player. Like, this is a pro Trae Young podcast in terms of we think he's extremely
we actually are
talented.
Like, I really like Trae Young as a player. Like, I think that Trae gets a bit of a bad rap, to be honest.
Correct.
With you. Like, I think there are fewer players in the league than you would think who have literally led their team as the number one option to a conference finals. And Trae Young has actually done that, by the way.
Yeah. So if it's going to work for Trae Young, if I want to go positive here, my thought is maybe this actually is a roster, specifically on the defensive end, that could, like, think about the starting lineup you could put out there with AJ DeBonsa, Keyshawn George, Alex Sarr, Anthony Davis, just all of the size and the length and the rebounding, and especially defensively, depending on where DeBonsa eventually gets to, when Coulibaly comes into the game, you have floor spacing around him with Trey Johnson off the bench. Like, if I wanted to think of this in a more positive light, I guess that's where I would go now as a Wizards fan, because you're going to have this.
On the positive light front, right? What we talked about in the Wizards offseason preview, and when the deal got done in February or January, it might have been, now that I think about it. The positive of this value to me is that he's going to put all of these guys in position to succeed now in a way that, like, Bob Carrington in his first 2 years in the NBA, maybe sometime down the road, but not in his first 2 years in the NBA, was not capable of doing. Right?
Agreed.
Trae Young is able to get paint touches. He's going to actually he's going to collapse defenses and force them to rotate in a way that, like, the Wizards haven't been able to see yet with this young core. It's been very difficult, I think, for the young core to really develop because of that on some level, right? The other issue with this, though, that I have is just, frankly, like, Trae Young is a very small guard. He is 6'1", let's call him, without shoes probably. He played 15 games this year. He played 76 the year before. He played 54 the year before. He was 76 and 73 in his fourth and fifth years, but then he was 60 and 63 in the previous years. Trae definitely wants to play. Like, he's not somebody that enjoys sitting out. Like, I think the 15 games this year was probably, he obviously dealt with the soft tissue injuries too, but, like, I think that it was more the result of Washington not wanting to play him, and Atlanta probably playing it very coy and things while he was looking to get moved, etc. But like, it doesn't get easier for these smaller guards. Like, if you look back through history, there are not many guards Trae Young size that like, are elite by the time they get to, 32, 33, right? Like he's even considerably smaller than somebody like Stephen Curry, right? You can certainly look at Steve Nash. Like Steve Nash, again, was probably 20 pounds heavier than Trae Young, but Steve Nash won his MVPs at 31 and 30, right? And Trae Young is still in his 20s. So I think if that's maybe that's what you're looking for here, right? As your comparable. But there aren't many of them. It's very difficult, I think, to project him continuing to get better, especially given what we've seen the last few years where he just hasn't gotten better, right? Like he's been basically who he is. And I mean that like in a good way, right? Like he's outside of last year, which I think you can throw away because he was dealing with the injuries. He's been really, really good throughout the course of his career. And again, I really like Trae Young as a player. I really like him as an offensive like driver. I think he's genuinely pretty special, but like, yeah, the thing I can't get my head around is that we did literally just see this. Like we just saw what the market was for Trae Young at the deadline, and it was not strong.
Yeah. If you would have told me this is what the number was going to be, I don't think I would have believed it, Sam. It's like, okay, if it was at $50 million in 3 years, I've been like, man, that's more, but I
would have
live with
understood
that,
that
I think.
Actually. Yeah.
Or if it was 4 years, but it was at the $40 million we talked about, it's like, okay, it's at the 40 million, but he got an extra year on it, but like the fact that it's 4 years and $50 million a year, $50+ million a year, I think that's where I'm so surprised that he got the years and the AAV. He got both of those things and the player option on the end of it, on top of everything else. So I was not expecting this.
Really only had one team as leverage here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which like, I don't know that Brooklyn was interested, but again, like Brooklyn just drafted 3-point guards, has a chance to draft another point guard on Tuesday. Like, are they really in the Trae Young market? It's just who are you bidding against is kind of my thing. That's my big question here is who were you bidding against at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks have made 2 moves. They signed CJ McCollum to a 1-year, $21 million contract. Just bringing him back. I thought CJ was really good for them last year. I love keeping the flexibility of a 1-year deal here. Outstanding work from Monty Sala and everyone there. They've also acquired Aaron Wiggins from the Oklahoma City Thunder for 2 second-round picks. They have absorbed him into the trade exception they created at the trade deadline by trading Luke Kennard to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Oklahoma City Thunder, I believe, saved $60 million in luxury tax payments through this deal. And I would imagine it won't be their last move of this nature. I would think that Isaiah Joe is probably following him out the door. Good moves from the Atlanta Hawks. Like I love bringing in CJ, even if you're planning on taking a guard at number 8, even if you're planning on trading up, if you're planning on trading down, whatever you're doing. A 1-year deal for CJ McCollum, who is, regarded as somebody that's really good to have around in the locker room, who is a really capable scorer, as we saw in Atlanta in the second half of the season. He's still able to play in the playoffs. This is a home run. This is really good. I have no notes for them on CJ.
I thought the CJ move was really nice. I don't know that we talked about this specifically with him, but I know we did about players kind of in the same realm of, okay, unrestricted free agents that are roughly non-tax MLE range, maybe a little bit better, whatever. Can the teams that they're currently on, I think we more specifically talked about it with John Collins and the Clippers, but can you just pay them for 1 year at a number that they just can't turn down? And that's how you beat the non-tax MLE teams or the cap space teams even, right? That maybe would give them multi-year deals. I think getting him on a 1-year deal at that number is awesome. And even if they take one of those guards at number 8, I think CJ McCollum still being there to not immediately put all that pressure on whoever that player is great. I love the Aaron Wiggins deal. this was whoever made this move, I was going to be excited for. You just continue to add to that wing room with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, obviously Jalen Johnson, these guys, different types of players. Corey Kispert's still there. Obviously, we'll see what Risacher ends up being, but I love this. And now I think Atlanta's in a position, draft a guard, draft a center in the draft. And I really, really like where this roster's out at, and you can see how it continues to build forward. Like, can Jalen Johnson take another step? Dyson Daniels offensively, etc. So I thought these were really, really solid moves from the Hawks.
Yeah, and I will just say, like, on the Wiggins move here, right? Because, like, the McCollum deal is just, like, outwardly positive. There's not really another reason to talk about it a little bit more. It's a really good deal. Look, I think Aaron Wiggins is, like, not an NBA starter. I think he's probably best as, like, a 6th, 7th, 8th man at the end of the day. He can pinch hit as a starter. He did it in Oklahoma City from time to time. But I do think he's just, like, a little bit too streaky, and the defense is solid but hit or miss is maybe the way to put it. Like, he was far from Oklahoma City's best defensive player. I still think this is a great deal for the Hawks. Like, them getting another real shooter, it felt very clear to me that they were kind of a shooter short, and they traded Vic Krejci to the Portland Trailblazers for a couple of second-round picks at the deadline. I think they were kind of a shooter short, and this is a guy on a really good deal, somebody who can at least, like, hold his own defensively while shooting, 40, let's call it normally 47, 38, 79, 80, while averaging 10 points a game off the bench. That's probably what this is. That's probably what the market is for somebody like this. A couple of second round picks if the guy is making under $10 million a year, which he is for the next 3 years. He has 3 years and $27 million left on his contract. It's just a really good contract. There were always going to be bidders for Aaron Wiggins. I see people like questioning why are teams not, making this harder for Oklahoma City to cut money. And it's just like, well, because it doesn't really matter to them if Oklahoma City is in luxury tax hell. Like, it doesn't help their team. They, like, especially if you're an Eastern Conference team.
What do you care?
What Oklahoma City is paying or not paying, like, doesn't really matter to you. It doesn't affect you all that much.
How are you going to get on the same page as all 14 other organizations to say, hey, we're all not going to pay 2 second-round picks for Aaron Wiggins? Like, I just listen. It's an incredible contract. It has a team option on the 3rd year, Sam. So, like, let's say he comes in and he's not even close to what I think he is, or even what we've seen. Then it's a 2-year, $17 million deal. And I think at the very least, he's a rotation wing, like, in the regular season. Like, maybe he doesn't end up in your playoff rotation. It's still 2 second-round picks. And I feel very strongly that Aaron Wiggins can be an 82-game player. Like, he can help your team in the regular season. With their depth, is there a world where he's not in the playoff rotation? Maybe. I don't think that's going to happen. I actually...
Well, here's what I'll say, Bryce, though. Like, Aaron Wiggins has struggled in the playoffs. Like, in his 3 years now in the playoffs, he's played 45 games. He's shot 41, 33, 82 in the playoffs while averaging 5 points a game. So we do have, like, a record now of Aaron Wiggins struggling a little bit in the playoffs to make that next level jump. Right. And that's why he was never getting a 1st round pick. I saw some Oklahoma City people being like, well, why didn't Aaron Wiggins get a 1st round pick, like a late 1st round pick back? It was like, well, A, they had to find a deal where they took back no money. Like, that was the main goal here. And B, there are, like, some real questions as to whether or not he's a playoff player.
Yeah. I think he can be. Like, I think Aaron Wiggins is very good, but even if he's not, it's 2 second-round picks. It's a great contract. I think it's a really, really good move. It adds to the depth of the team, which I think is important. So I liked both of these for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yep. Final set of moves here that we have to talk about. Collin Gillespie back in Phoenix on a 4-year, $48 million deal. Jordan Goodwin back in Phoenix on a 3-year, $19 million deal. I love these contracts. These are great. They're both, like, immensely tradable contracts. They're both, like, excellent paydays for these guys that have worked their way up from, like, undrafted and, like, straight up from the bootstraps of the G League, where they have earned every second of playing time in the NBA. I love this. I love this for these guys. I saw some people questioning why Collin Gillespie would take this deal. You know, I do wonder if it was a circumstance where his representation maybe felt like there weren't 4-year deals on the market, like Phoenix was watching. I do think that Gillespie probably would have gotten pretty close to like 15 a year, something like that on the market. Like he could have maybe gotten 3 years, 45, maybe 3 years, 43, something like that. But you get the extra year, you get the extra money locked in, guaranteed. You're set for life now at $48 million. I like this for him, and I like it for Goodwin too. I think Goodwin's a really excellent like difference maker.
My immediate thought was this is a win for the Suns and the organization and like
Totally.
the culture they've built, right? Like I feel like that was something that was talked about this year. And listen, I don't know what the market would have been for either of these guys, but I think both would have had other teams interested in them, right? Like maybe similar numbers, maybe a little bit more. Like, I don't know about the years, whatever. I think they're both extremely quality contracts for Phoenix. And the fact that Phoenix was able to get these done, these weren't even today, right? Like these were a day over the weekend. And so the fact that Phoenix was able to get these done, keep both of these players in Phoenix, these are names we brought up. I mean, we had people tweeting at us, right? I think it was the Pacers. I don't think it was a fan. I think it was maybe a journalist or something. But anyway, like, tweeted at us on, X or whatever, because we had brought up how fun Gillespie would be in Indiana, even though the fit stuff or whatever. But it's like, we had talked about these guys through our 30 offseason previews. Like, man, Jordan Goodwin would be a nice little, hey, if you have $5 to $7 million left of your non-tax MLE or something like that, that's, you could pair him with this player and that would be nice. Phoenix keeps both of them. I think this is a major win for the Phoenix Suns and their organization being able to retain two players like this.
I totally agree with you. And they both fit like the mentality that this organization's clearly trying to build, where it's, hey, we want these guys that build it up like from the bootstraps, right? Like we want these guys that are tough as hell and, kind of fit the Matt Ishbia mentality, right? Like that's what he wants on guys at the end of the day. Yeah, it's funny. Like, Keezus brings up, like, I remember Sam talking about Collin Gillespie, who was a G League player in Denver. Collin Gillespie was averaging almost a freaking triple-double in the G League for Denver's G League team. And I was watch the games, and I'd be like, this guy's a real dude. Like, why isn't anybody signing him? Why is Denver not playing him? Like, Denver's playing freaking Jalen Pickett over him. What are we doing here? It's out of control. Yeah, like, to me, Collin Gillespie is an awesome player. He's like a borderline starting point guard in the NBA. I would rather have him than the guys like Colin Sexton, like that kind of classification of guard, because I think he's like a little bit more solid and stout defensively than those guys are too. Collin gives a ton of effort, but like he's just not quite as physical as what Gillespie's capable of being. Monster shooter, great on and off the ball, moves the ball quickly. Just a really, really good basketball player, Bryce. Like a really, really effective basketball player. And Goodwin's an awesome defensive player too.
Yep. I like it a lot.
Okay. Before we get into the mock draft.
Real quick, Bryce, before you did we get a Mo Diawara? I don't think we've got, but did we get the actual terms?
I have not yet seen the terms. What Fred Katz, good friend of the program here, is saying is that if you're building hypothetical Mo Diawara contracts, a 4-year deal using his non-bird rights, starting at around $2.6 million would be worth around like $11.2 million total. The only other way to get above $10 million total would be to sign him for 2 years via the non-taxpayer MLE. I'm assuming that the way that contract was tweeted by Shams, which was a classic Shams.
I was like, this is incredible. Multi-year
classic Shams
deal,
phrasing.
Multi-year deal, 10+ million. I'm like, the lack of specific details in this tweet is absolutely incredible. I loved it.
I'm gonna guess that Diawara got a 4-year deal starting at like 2.6 million, like Fred is saying here. And the real question is how many years are guaranteed?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to be stunned if it's more than 2. If you told me it's 1, I wouldn't be blown away by that either.
Yeah. Okay.
It feels this feels like a hinky special to the max to me, Bryce.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is what I was assuming. I tried to see if we had gotten any more details. It sounds like nothing specific yet, but it was curious because I recorded with GMAC today over on Knicks Film School, and he brought up Diawara. We brought up the, potential, like him, where he would be in the 2025 draft now, stuff like that. But then I thought it was interesting then this came out today. So I thought it was at least worth mentioning for them.
Yep. Okay. Before we get into the mock draft here, Bryce, we got to shout out our friends over at Quince. Summer always changes how I get dressed. I want pieces that feel lighter and more breathable, things that are easy but still put together. That's why I keep coming back to Quince. They focus on high quality essentials that feel and look amazing. Think breathable linen and soft organic cotton. Well-made basics, but without the luxury markup. It's that rare balance where everything feels elevated but still effortless. Quince European linen pants and shirts are perfect warm weather upgrades to add to your rotation, starting at just $34. Their tees are soft and easy to wear, and their lightweight cotton sweaters are perfect for cooler summer nights. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands, and they work directly with ethical factories and cut out the middlemen. So you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Again, like the t-shirts are the key for me. They feel really good on your skin. They're very soft. They're very light, and they look good when they're on you. Elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/gametheory for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/gametheory for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/gametheory. Okay, Bryce. We also got to shout out our friends over at Shopify before we get out of here and start the mock draft. Anytime you're starting a business, it can be very concerning. You can have that anxiety. You can have that concern. You can think, is this really the right decision for me? Having said that, choosing to make that leap is the most important thing, and it can be one of the best decisions you ever make. Shopify is going to help you ease some of those concerns and make sure that starting a business is the best decision that you can possibly make. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From household brands like Heinz, Mattel, Skims, etc., to brands just getting started. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. Accelerate your efficiency, whether you're uploading new products or trying to improve existing ones. Shopify is packed with helpful tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. And if people haven't heard about your brand, Shopify is going to help you find your customers with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. It's time to turn those what ifs into cash with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/gametheory. Go to shopify.com/gametheory. That is shopify.com/gametheory. Okay, Bryce, we are going to zoom through a mock draft here. We are not going to go like the typical 2 hours we do on a mock draft, right? We're going to really just we've done a mock draft literally last week. If you want really in-depth player descriptions, we can, you can go back and listen.
We will also be live for 3.5, 4 hours tomorrow night talking about these guys yet again and the picks that are actually made. That is coming very, very soon for everybody.
Also, the key is that we will be live for many hours tomorrow. Okay. So I'm going to pull up mock draft simulator here.
And while Sam pulls that, come join us tomorrow. It will be a lot of fun. We break down every pick. We talk about it. I know there's a lot of team specific ones out there. If you want to go join that while your team is picking, completely understand. but then come back and join us for the rest of the selections. That tomorrow night is one of my favorite nights. And one of the coolest things about being a part of the Game Theory podcast is having a platform like this to be live during the draft. I very, very much enjoy tomorrow night.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, Bryce, number one with the Washington Wizards. We're going AJ DeBonsa, right?
We are.
Okay. Does the fact that they have Trae Young for 4 more years actually change your opinion?
It does not.
It also does not change my opinion. I would go to Bonsa. The big key for me that we talked about on the Washington preview, which you can go listen to, which went up today, is that for me, it's all about the rim pressure. This Wizards team just has not had an easy way to generate rim pressure over the course of the last couple of years. And honestly, like even on their roster right now, I don't think they have a lot of guys that can truly generate a ton of rim pressure. DeBonsa, absolutely, that is his superpower. He's going to generate rim pressure, get to the line, get to the rim, score. I am a huge fan of what this fit is in AJ DeBonsa in Washington.
Yeah, nothing about what they've done changes things for me. I have him slightly above the other two guys at the top, so I'm very comfortable regardless of what the contracts or anything are that DeBonsa is still number one for me.
Okay. Number 2, the Utah Jazz. We have talked at length about the fact that we think Darren Peterson is the right decision here because we like the idea of getting another ball handler in there, in addition to the fact that Cam Boozer would likely result in further trades down the road, right?
Yep.
I think Darren Peterson makes a ton of sense. His upside is through the roof. And again, even though I have Cam Boozer at number 2 on my board, like personally, I still think that these 3 guys are all so close that fit actually would matter for me in terms of all of this.
So that is one thing I do want to just like hammer home here, and I'm sure we'll talk about it at length tomorrow, depending on what picks are actually made, that we don't think fit is the most important part of this equation. What you and I happen to agree on here is that Darren Peterson and Cam Boozer are so close for us in our rankings that it is okay to select the guy that is a little bit more of a seamless fit into the organization and roster over the other guy. And we said on the Utah, it was either the Utah one or our other mock draft, I think it was the Utah preview, that if you, viewer, listener, or the Jazz have Cam Boozer in a tier above, like definitely as a better prospect than Darren Peterson and or AJ DeBonsa, whatever, then take Cam Boozer. If either you or I had AJ DeBonsa and then a tier break and then Cam Boozer and a tier break, or AJ DeBonsa and Cam Boozer in their own tier and then it's Darren Peterson and Caleb Wilson, you and I both would be saying Cam Boozer with this pick, right? Like that's what we would be saying. That's just not what we have in terms of like where our tier breaks are at. So for me, I love Darren Peterson here with Utah.
And I will just say as well that, you know, as person who does the intel on all of this, right? I don't know what Washington is going to do. People around the league seem to think Washington is more likely to take AJ, but I think only the Washington Wizards organization probably knows what the plan is as of right now. So we're going to go to Bonsa at 2, or we're going to go Peterson at 2. Jesus. We're going to go to Bonsa at 1, Peterson at 2. We're going to go Cam Boozer at 3. This is just kind of an easy decision here. I would be fairly staggered if the Memphis Grizzlies are up and Cam Boozer does not go number 3 if he's sitting there on the board.
Yep. I love it.
Ticks every box that this organization has looked for. He's wildly productive. He's a competitor who brings it every night. I actually really like the fit with Zach Edey. I think that the skill set really blends well. Let's go Cam Boozer at 3.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was going to say is, and we've talked about this at length as well, I have no concerns about Cam Boozer and Zach Edey together offensively. I think it works very well because Cam Boozer is so talented.
Yep. Okay. And number 4 is going to be quite easy. We're going to go Caleb Wilson at this point.
Yep.
Again, just very simple. Caleb Wilson's the best player on the board. He fits everything that Bryson Graham seems to want out of prospects. Size, length, athleticism, physicality. I actually really like the fit. with what they're building in terms of having like guys that play up tempo, like Modest Bazelis, Josh Giddey, everything like that. I don't think that any team outside of the top four is going to be able to move into the top four. I think all these guys are too valuable. And I don't think that any of these guys are likely to slip out of the top four for anybody outside of the top four.
I agree. I have a pretty aggressive tier break here. As much as I like some of the names that we're about to talk about, I don't think I see, of course, ceilings and some of those things could still be there, but I have a pretty aggressive tier break after Caleb Wilson. I will say this, and again, we'll talk about it more tomorrow. I shouldn't say this for you. You can speak for yourself. I'm not as high on his defense as some people are. Like I continue to hear people call him like a really, really good defender and think that the defense is going to be automatic in the NBA and some of those things. I'm like, we can talk about that more tomorrow night when the pick is actually made. But that for me is one of the differentiators in terms of why I would not have him really considered in the top three.
Yep. Okay. Number 4. People know where I stand on him defensively. I don't know that we need to really dig into that.
Not tonight.
I think it's very, very clear. I've made my thoughts known that I have some concerns on Caleb Wilson defensively. Okay. The LA Clippers at 5 is like really where I think things kick off for the draft, right? So the names I've gotten, Keaton Wagler, Michael Brown, I would say Braden Burries is a name that like could sneak in there and it wouldn't be like a total stunner to people league wide. I still think the most likely outcome here is Keaton Wagler.
I will also say this is another spot where I saw the other day someone, I don't remember who it was, but it was on essentially saying that if you're talking about fit with Darius Garland, you don't know what you're talking about with the NBA draft. And my pushback would be similar to what we said about Darren Peterson with the Utah Jazz fit. Yes, if you have Darius Acuff in a tier by himself at number 5, or Kingston Fleming's in a tier by himself at number 5, or whoever, then you should take that player. You should take Darius Acuff if you think he is definitely in a tier alone. And then you figure out the Darius Garland thing later. If you don't, if you have very similar grades to these guys, I personally think it's perfectly reasonable to go, you know what? We're going to go Keaton Wagler here, or we're going to go Michael Brown Jr. here, or we're going to go Braden Burries here as a little bit of a tiebreaker, assuming the Clippers have long-term plans for Darius Garland on their roster, which is the assumption I'm working under right now.
So I think there's a conversation to be had about them trading down, if only because if I was them, and I think they wouldn't think of it this way. I think they will think of this as, oh, we didn't do anything wrong with the aspiration thing. Why would we do this? You know what I mean? We're not going to get punished. We didn't do anything wrong. I will say, if I was them, I think there is a case in terms of just cutting or at least like being safe on some level, where if you really think Braden Burries and Keaton Wagler are the same level prospect, right? Could you move down to number 8 and still get Braden Burries at number 8 and pick up number 23 or something like that, right? And then you get multiple young players in the door before any potential of you losing draft picks down the road within any sort of aspiration-based punishment. Again, like I think the Clippers would go, we're not getting punished. Like we didn't do anything wrong here. But, you know, you just never know the way the NBA is going to see things on some level, I guess. And you never know the way like investigations are going to turn out. I mean, if you didn't do anything wrong, maybe you do. But I don't know. Like I might want some certainty on that, maybe, of getting multiple guys in the door.
I don't mind the idea, especially if your board is a certain way. For me, and the way I have my board right now, that would be a little bit tougher to do because I would just take Keaton Wagler. And I think if I'm trading to 8 and then now I'm Michael Brown or Braden Burries, that is a slight step from Wagler to those guys. I would want to feel really good about who I was going to get at 23, which you may. Like there's going to be some fun names at 23, or maybe it's a future first round pick, or you know whatever the deal is. I would understand the idea. Absolutely, I would, for me, I think I would just stay and pick Keaton Wagler.
Okay, let's do that. Let's take Keaton Wagler at 5. Okay, number 6.
Run to the podium.
This is the Brooklyn Nets. I think this is probably going to be Michael Brown if he's there.
Wow. Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I think he's met with them like 3 times now at this point. And like they very clearly have done like an incredible amount of digging here. It also feels like to me that Darius Acuff like wants to get to Sacramento.
Sure.
Frankly.
Yeah.
The other name that has been very popular here is Nate Ament, but like you and I can't possibly take Nate Ament here at number, what is this? 6?
I will not.
I have Ament at 14. It would be if that happens, tune into the show tomorrow. That's what I would say. If Nate Ament,
or fast forward it the next day if you're watching somewhere else, just come back for pick 6 on Wednesday.
Yeah, if Nate Ament goes 6th overall, tune into the show tomorrow because we will have some fun. My goodness. I think it's going to be Michael Brown. If Brown does not go 5, I think it's going to be Michael Brown at 6.
So I will just say this. I would disagree with this pick, but it's close enough. I understand it. And I think it's reasonable, like definitely more reasonable than Nate Ament to me. So,
yeah. And I say this is somebody like I have Michael Brown at 10 on my board. I really respect the talent. I think he is so gifted. The decision-making and some of the wildness is like a bit of a concern for me personally, but I understand that he is like every bit as gifted as all of these players on the board. Like his ability to fire from 3, he is a sniper from distance. He can pull up. He can really knock him down off the catch. His live dribble passing with his left hand is genuinely special. Like he is awesome at it. It's just like, I really worry if he can score inside of 15 feet. And I think that some of these other guys like Darius Acuff particularly have a bit more of a well-rounded scoring package, but that's just me. Okay. So we're going to go Brown at 6.
Now the Kings should run to the podium.
The Kings will run to the podium and take Darius Acuff if Darius Acuff is there at 7. I think that is very clear. And this would be a home run, man. Like, I think it'd be a home run for everybody, honestly. Like, Darius Acuff gets to run his own team in the way that he seems to want to. The Kings, man, like, when was the last time the Kings, like, had somebody trying to finagle to get to them? You know what I mean? Which it feels like the Acuff group, like, prefers, right?
Sure. Yeah.
There's a long-standing relationship with Scott Perry. Scott Perry was the head coach at Eastern Kentucky in, 1999-2000 when Darius Acuff Sr. played at Eastern Kentucky. Family has known each other for a long time, and I think this would be amazing. I'm all for it.
I actually would like to see him play with Sabonis. Like if they draft Sabonis,
Draft Acuff, yeah.
If they draft Acuff, I think I would like to see Sabonis now stay there, because what I really like about my biggest thing with Acuff offensively is it's not just his on-ball ability and his scoring on ball. It's how well he shoots off the ball, off all sorts of different play types along with his passing. And so my point here is like the idea of playing with someone like Sabonis, where he can come off DHOs and gets and off screen actions where Sabonis has the ball at the top of the key and he's running off floppies and pin downs and all of that. I kind of like that for him. So if I'm Sacramento and I end up with Acuff out of all of these guys, I actually think I would keep Sabonis at least until, I don't know if they're going to be able to trade. I don't even know if they want to trade him, but I'm just saying I would want to keep him now for sure to help grow and develop Darius Acuff's game in his rookie season at least.
Yep. Okay. Acuff at 7. Put him on the board. Before we get to the 8th pick, we're going to shout out our friends over at CashApp, which the overlay is somewhere here, Bryce. I promise. There it is. Okay. Look, if your debit card is boring, Cash App is going to allow you to personalize your debit card to make it look as wonderful as you want it to. I think you and I would have a little basketball-shaped debit card. Not shaped, but it would certainly look like a basketball. If we get the dimples on it, that'd be amazing. But really, if you weren't up to speed already, Cash App is more than just a safe way to to send and receive money. With the Cash App card, you unlock a ton of perks without all the hidden fees. Enjoy benefits like exclusive early access to nationwide concert pre-sales, plus discounts on everyday purchases and popular brands you're probably already spending money on. Add your card to your digital wallet to make your money move easier. Cash App is also going to add security to your money by declining suspicious card transactions and sending you a notification to make sure the payment's really you. If your card's ever lost or stolen, you can lock it with just one tap right in the app. Spend with confidence with the Cash App card today. And look, they just do a lot to make sure that to have your back and to make sure your money stays your money. They just released a new status program for the way people actually spend called Cash App Green. Now, when you spend at least $500 a month with the Cash App card, you get green status, which unlocks benefits like $200 of free overdraft coverage. Look, Cash App finds ways to make your money work for you. It is a terrific, terrific product. New Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code CashApp10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App's financial services platform, not a bank. Bank services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Cash App Visa debit flex cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, and the Bancorp Bank North America, pursuant to a license from Visa USA Incorporated. See terms and conditions for the Sutton prepaid card, Sutton debit flex card, and Bancorp debit flex card. Cash App Green features, savings, direct deposit roundups, overdraft coverage, and discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Incorporated brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Okay. Bryce, let's go to number 8. This is another breaking point, it feels like to me, where I think Kingston Flemings is a really good pick for them, especially with CJ McCollum seemingly returning or definitely returning to the fold. He is re-signed. I would love Kingston Flemings getting a year behind CJ McCollum. I think those two really complement one another well. Kingston being a guy who can really get up and down the court, CJ being more of a slow and steady ball screen playmaker. I think they could really work to help one another. This would be awesome to me if Kingston Flemings went number 8, but it's probably worth discussing some other options.
I agree. I'm still, I had done a lot leading up to the last week. I kind of had gotten into the rut of, okay, Diawara or Merez or Steinbach or, just a big. I don't think I would go wing here for them. Just kind of based on where my board is, maybe Braden Burries, and he's a little bit more just combo guard than true wing. I think you could consider him for sure. I think I would go Flemings because, as we just talked about, I love the 1-year deal for McCollum, and then now you turn the keys over to Flemings and you go from there after that year. I would hear out the bigs, and Burries would be the other name. So to me, it's Flemings, it's Burries, and then whoever your top big is.
I think Mara is a somewhat interesting option here for them, but I would go Flemings over Mara at the end of the day. I just have different grades on them is the reality. I really like Burries as well. I think Burries is a totally reasonable pick. And man, can you imagine Braden Burries getting to learn under the foot of CJ McCollum? That's a perfect situation, right?
Yeah.
Those two have a lot in common with their games. Burries just being more physical and able to guard. I think it'd be really cool to see Burries learn under McCollum, all the tricks of the trade that CJ has, right? I think Kingston is probably the better complement though. And I do have just a slightly higher grade on Kingston than I do on Burries. I have them 7 and 8. If they took either of them, I wouldn't complain. I think we go Flemings here at number 8 though.
I'm cool with that.
Okay. Number 9 with the Dallas Mavericks. We kind of talked about this at the top of the show. I think I've sold myself on Mara here. Given that Mike Schmitz literally took Hansen Young last year in large part due to the skill set of bigs who can really pass. That's something that Mike just really likes, bigs who can pass, right? And really liked Hansen Young. I think that Mara is a better prospect than Hansen Young. much better defensively. The question is, like, can he play more than 25 minutes a night? I think Dusty May is going to have the best answer on that because he coached him last year. I wonder if Merez could be the guy here. I do. But I could see Nate Ament. Like, I think that's very possible. He fits the Masai type. If Masai says, like, this is my pick, I'm the first one. But I think Mara. I think that I'm between Mara and Merez here, and I think I'm going to say Mara, even though they still have Derek Lively in the fold. It's just hard to know what's going on with Lively.
So that's what I was going to ask. Is the idea then you have to trade one of Gafford or Lively then, right? Or are you going to take Mara? So, like, that would be my only issue with this now is, man, I feel like you should have moved one of those guys before all of this happened. But listen, Gafford's still going to return good value, I think. So I think it probably ends up being okay. Let me ask you this. Would one of the other guards being here instead of it being Burries, would that change your thought? Like if Flemings was here or Michael Brown or something like that, would you like any of those for them more than what you're thinking you like Braden Burries for them?
No, I prefer Burries for them. Assuming they're keeping Kyrie, which it feels like they're posturing as, I think I prefer Burries for them.
Okay. I was just curious if it was like, hey, one of these guys being there would actually change this a little bit. So, yeah, okay.
Let's go Mara. Okay. Dusty May gets his man at number 9. Number 10, the Milwaukee Bucks. Do you know how hard it is for me to pass on Braden Burries here?
I was like, this is where we have to make the art. Like, why do we not? Here's my question. Why do we not just take him?
I would just take him if I'm them. Like, I wouldn't think twice about it. But the name I get most consistently with the Bucks is Nate Ament. I will just say that up front. Now, so, like, here's the question. If they decide that they're taking Jaylen Brown and they decide that they want to be competitive early,
yeah,
is there a chance that Braden Burries is just the better player here for them?
Yes. That's a very easy answer to me. If they're not going a full rebuild situation, I think they definitely take Braden Burries. If it's we're keeping Jaylen Brown or whatever, if the Giannis trade ends up different than what I think it's going to be, because, like, we don't need to get into this now, but the Celtics trade and the Miami trade are very different because a lot of the Miami trade, Tyler Hero doesn't even end up in Milwaukee. He ends up in Detroit. And so
I'm like skeptical of that for what it's worth.
Sure.
Just to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm convinced, put it this way. I think if that deal could be made across multiple fronts already, I think it would probably be done.
Okay. But just in general, yes, if they're not going full rebuild, I think the pick is probably Burries. If they're going to take this out a little bit longer and go full in on it, then...
Well, the other question here is, do they keep Jaylen Brown?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, are they going to keep Jaylen Brown if they trade for him? Or are they going to flip him like, you know, the Portland Trailblazers did with Drew Holiday, for instance, sending Drew Holiday immediately to Boston after the Damian Lillard deal, right? Yeah. So
why don't we just take the better basketball player? No matter what.
So here's my problem, Bryce.
Okay.
I don't know where Nate Ament goes if we don't take him here.
That's not our problem.
It's not, but, like, I think there's a chance he goes 6th.
So you're saying if we end up taking him at 15, we look not... Let me look ahead.
I think Burries should be the pick here. For what it's worth, I think Burries should be the pick.
Okay. Yeah. I assume we're going to take Ament. So my question to you is, where do you think he goes if we don't? What ends up, what would happen if Milwaukee passes? We don't think he goes to Golden State. I don't think he goes to Oklahoma City at 12. He doesn't go to Miami at 13. Is Charlotte at 14?
I'm not sure he doesn't go to Oklahoma City for what it's worth.
Okay.
They tend to like these. Like they took Ousmane Dieng, and Nate Amon is definitely a better prospect than Ousmane Dieng.
Fair. Okay. All right.
They like positional size. He's a really good kid. Like there's no intel flags on him or anything like that. Like he works hard. Like there's no worries there. And like I think Miami, like I have no idea what Miami's doing, point blank. Sure. If it's not Milwaukee's pick, right? Like,
yeah,
it could be Milwaukee's pick for all we know. But I mean, I can't imagine he falls past 15 is the answer for Ament.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it's not like he's going to fall to 20.
No, he won't. Okay. Let's go Burries here at 10. Look, the answer to this is like, there's a chance Burries goes 5th and we might have him at 11, right?
Yeah.
So let's go Burries here at 10 for the Bucks. Number 11, Golden State. I think I know what I would do here. And I think that they like this player. I've gotten Yaxel associated with the Warriors a decent amount now.
I would go Yaxel. I thought you were going to push the other Michigan guy.
Oh, I mean, like, look, I have a higher grade on Yax, but like, I love Merez too. I think Merez would be a totally reasonable pick. I went through all of this. I did Warriors plus minus with Marcus Thompson yesterday, and we talked through a lot of this. And I think Yaxel's the one that like really tracks for them.
What did he think? Out of somebody that like obviously is really into the Warriors realm, like what was his thoughts?
After I explained them all, he thought that Yax and Merez sounded the most likely. He also liked the idea of Mara being like an Andrew Bogut,
okay,
like fill-in, kind of like remember what Bogut was after the injury. Bogut obviously went number 1 overall, but like after the injury and he came to Golden State, he was a lot more of where Mara is. I would argue. Yeah, good screener, great passer. Awesome in splits, things like that.
Yaxel would be my choice here for the Warriors.
Yaxel would be my choice. I will say, like, I think all of the picks, realistically, from 8 down to like 14, maybe even 16, I think these things could move. And I think there's like some real teams in there. Like I think Memphis could very easily try to get up for one of the guards. Like if you told me that they tried to use all of the pick capital that they got from like the Desmond Bane deal or the Jaren Jackson deal, and we're like, hey, we just want Keaton Wagler, or we just want Kingston Flemings or Braden Burries or someone. I think Memphis, like using 16 to do that, is very possible.
Nice.
At this point. I think Chicago could very much try to move up. I think that, Oklahoma City could try to spike up a couple of spots, right? Like there's the number of teams that could really try to spike up. I think we go Yaxel here, though.
Okay.
If we're not doing trades, which we're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Oklahoma City at 12. Do you have a strong lean here?
Merez. Like
why?
For me, so Merez is the best player on my board right now, and I just think he makes sense. And I know, here's my thing that I always say with Oklahoma City is I don't know that you can select a player that isn't like, oh, there's already this player on the roster, right? And so I think you're going to run into that regardless of what position you take. I think Merez with the potential, with what he does defensively, fits really, really well next to Chet. If the offense really comes around, then it's even more versatility that he could provide. And so I just see no reason to go past him on my board whenever I think he just makes a lot of sense for them.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go Merez. Where is Merez? There he is. Merez is not the 25th overall player. Merez is going somewhere in the top 14.
Well, as we said last time, this isn't updated because it still had early guys that went back. So
super strong, super active defender, very switchable, can play with Chet, can play with Hartenstein a little bit, I think. Like there's a lot of different things you could do here, I think, that work. Someone asked a good question here. If Milwaukee picks 10 and 13, do you think they take Burries at 10? I think it's more likely they get Amon at 13 than vice versa. Definitely, because I don't see Burries falling past 11. If they pass on Burries at 10, I think Golden State takes him at 11.
Yeah. Or Oklahoma. Yeah. That's a really good question, though. I love that question.
Yeah. I think they might try to move up from 13 at that point, honestly, to try to get the guy that they want.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be my read. Okay. Number 13 is the Miami Heat. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no real feel here for the Heat. Because we've all been kind of assuming that they might not have this pick. And if they do end up having this pick, the only guy that I've heard anything about with them is I heard that Merez looked very good in a workout there. And he would be amazing there, by the way. If you put Merez Johnson in Miami with Bam and with Khalil Ware, and you let him crash bang with Khalil, that would be freaking awesome.
Okay, so especially because there's a chance this is Milwaukee, can we also have the Nate Ament, does he make sense for Miami?
I would love to see Nate Ament go to Miami because they have an amazing player development situation. And again, people think that I'm I don't like Nate Ament. Literally the only players that I don't really like are the ones that I get bad intel on and that are not good people. And those are the players that I hope either mature and grow out of it or just are not successful. Nate Ament is nowhere. Nate Ament's intel is awesome. People really like him, think he's an amazing kid. Anyone that gets to know him thinks he's super smart, super engaging. I would love Nate Ament to be successful. And him going to Miami would be an amazing outcome for his long-term success, I think.
I think that's what we got. I think we go Nate Ament 13. If it's Miami and if it's Milwaukee, then it's definitely Ament. I like this spot then for him.
Yeah. Okay. I'm into it. Ament at 13. All right. Charlotte at 14. This is just best big, and this is Steinbach to me.
I agree.
Yeah. All due respect to Moussa Diabate. He's 215, 220 pounds. Ryan Kalkbrenner is very thin, even though he's 215 pounds or 250 pounds. I think you can leverage him a little bit. Steinbach to me is he's just a bigger body. He's a good complement to what they have. I really like Steinbach here as the fit.
Big time rebounder, has some skill, might space the floor, which is something different from those guys. I know, Kalkbrenner maybe gets there eventually, but I like the way this ends up for Charlotte in terms of getting Steinbach to add to that center rotation moving forward.
Yep. Okay. 15, the Chicago Bulls. I'm willing to hear out a lot here. Size, length, athleticism, physicality is what we think, right? Cam Carr ticks those boxes?
Some of them.
Ticks three of them.
3 of them, yeah. So the two,
I would say that
him and Swain are the two names that I have right here on my board, are Cam Carr and Dalen Swain.
The other guy that I don't have a landing spot for, just to take people behind the curtain, is I'm not totally sure what's going on with Sinak.
Okay.
Sinak kind of ticks a lot of these boxes to me. And by the way, we're mentioning Sinak,
okay.
the amazing conversations that seem to be happening surrounding New Orleans right now. I've heard Nate Ament and Sinak for New Orleans, which is just the best thing in the world to me. I think that and look, Nate Ament is DMV adjacent for the Troy Weaver vibes. He's not quite DMV. He grew up in Virginia, but like DMV adjacent.
You know what's funny? The other day when we tried to trade Patrick Williams to New Orleans, I actually looked it up to see if he had any DMV connections, but I couldn't.
You have to.
I couldn't find any immediate ones anyway. So
you absolutely have to. I saw a rumor out there publicly today about Trey Murphy, like, and number 8 overall. I think it might have been Locked On Pelicans guy maybe said that. To potentially take Nate Ament at number 8. If you trade Trey Murphy for Nate Ament, I mean, again, like it's so hard. Like I really want Nate Ament to be successful, and putting him in that New Orleans situation feels like a bad plan to me. But, yeah, I don't know. Okay. The Bulls here. The reason I brought up Sanak though is like Sanak is very big and he is very long and physical. Like he ticks a lot of those boxes. I don't have him nearly this high. I have him at like 25th or so.
Same. This would be aggressive for me.
It would be way aggressive for me. I think Swain would make a lot of sense here for the Bulls. Are there any could Christian Anderson be a really good compliment to Josh Giddey?
I was going to ask about that. Is that an
interesting player?
Yeah, like I'm still a touch lower on Anderson than it seems like what the NBA is like, and I've just kind of dealt with that. Like I'm comfortable with that. But I mean, like I have him as a top 20 prospect, so like right around 20. So we're at 15. This isn't crazy to me. Like you get out of the lottery, and to me, someone like Christian Anderson starts to make a lot of sense. So if this would be the very high end, it still would be, I would rather take Cam Carr or Dalen Swain. But if we just think Christian Anderson gives them that floor spacing, they like a little bit more of the ball handling he would provide that, Cam Carr doesn't, he can really shoot it. And maybe you're concerned about Swain's ability to really shoot the ball. Sure. He doesn't fit some of those other things, but I did think about it, playing off of Josh Giddey.
Let's go Cam Carr. It feels like the easiest fit of all of this. Like it's a wing who can really shoot, who gets up and down, who has length. I think that's probably like the easiest blend of skills here.
I like it.
Okay. Number 16 is the Memphis Grizzlies again.
This is the Christian Anderson one, right? Like you like Anderson potentially here?
I do. Like I'm assuming that Ja Morant moves at some point this offseason. Like I don't know when, but I'd assume he moves at some point. Look, like I'm really hard on small guards, and I think Christian Anderson can just play at the end of the day. Like it's not a lot of, he's just he doesn't get a lot of paint touches. He doesn't get a lot of like super easy shots at the rim. But man, like, can you imagine like the ghost actions that Duke ran between Cam Boozer and Isaiah Evans for Christian Anderson? Like where Boozer is the ball handler and Evans is like setting ghost screens and just like flying out to the wing. And like Memphis has a history of this. Like Memphis did this stuff all the time with Desmond Bane, like using him as like an inverted screener. And Bane's obviously like a total tank, but I like either of Christian Anderson or Bennett Sturts here. Like those are the two guys that I really think track well with Cam Boozer, particularly as your franchise player now.
I would go Christian Anderson then. I have him slightly higher than Sturts on my board.
I have them, I think, like 2 spots apart or something, and I have Christian Anderson slightly higher. So let's go Christian Anderson at 16. Okay. 17 is Oklahoma City, and this just like screams Dalen Swain to me.
1,000%.
Like totally screams Dalen Swain.
Yeah.
Big ball handler, long, athletic, physical. This makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, if we would have taken him at 12, I would have been like probably okay with it. At 17, I think this is a home run. This is a great pick at 17 for Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I would agree. I think is it Jason in the comments brings up a lot of smallish guards in Memphis with Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr., and Cam Spencer. I think they're still just like in talent accumulation mode. I really love Ty. I like all 3 of those guys. God knows that like I'm the biggest Cam Spencer guy on planet Earth. But like Cam Spencer is like not really an on-ball guard. man, can you imagine Cam Boozer and Cam Spencer like ghost actions? That's like maybe the thing I will in the preseason. I promise everybody, I will pull on Twitter the first ghost screen where Cam Boozer is the ball handler and Cam Spencer drills a three as a ghost screener. Because you better believe I'll be watching every second. But I think they're still just in talent accumulation mode at the end of the day and trying to find like the best players that they can and find like a star guard. Because as much as I love those three guys, none of them are star guards.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 18. The Charlotte Hornets.
And we took Steinbach at 14.
We took Steinbach at 14. So there has been like a bit more buzz about Kobe White maybe being available. Like not like just automatically going back to Charlotte, but maybe being a guy who does not end up returning to Charlotte. Like there could be some teams out there who might be willing to pay him a little bit more. Is this a Sturts team?
So I think we go guard in that scenario. If that's a consideration that they need some more ball handling creation, all of that. Or the 4, like Koa Pete.
We've brought up Koa Pete. I love Koa Pete as a player. I have him higher than most of these players. It just feels like the NBA is not as interested in Koa Pete as I am right now.
Yeah.
Which is like annoying for me because I think he's quite good. But I just don't get that vibe right now.
Okay. I don't know that there's any other, like, I'm a little bit lower on Karim Lopez. I guess this is starting to get within range potentially.
So someone brought this up. This is amazing. Karim feels similar to the Tidjane Salon archetype. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. That feels concerning. I will say this, like I've gotten the Allen Graves stuff for the Hornets a little bit. Like I think that that's like a very possible pick here. It wouldn't be for you and I. I think you and I have a bit of a lower grade on Allen Graves than this one, but it certainly seems like it's a possibility here.
I think I would go guard. I just have the guards ranked higher. Like the guard we're overlooking that's on my personal board is Phylon. Like I'm just kind of a Phylon believer, even though I understand just like the physicality and size concerns with him. Like I do get it. I understand that. Like Phylon is going to be one of those that I'm just higher on. I'm again, one of those things I've come to terms with. But yeah, if we want to go guard, like if we think there's potentially a need for that, like I'm okay with Sturts at 18. I think this makes complete sense.
Let's go Sturts at 18.
Okay.
$19 with Toronto. I think Graves is a real possibility here too.
Yeah.
I think Sturts is a real possibility there. I think that Graves is like the name I've heard a bit here.
We can go Graves. We've talked about this. I did Raptors Republic with our guy S, and we talked about the Sandro Mamukelashvili and all of that, and how Graves maybe could replace some of that. So it's
actually a really good call.
Yeah. This is probably about as high as I would feel comfortable with Graves, but this is probably where it starts for me, is 19 to the Raptors, especially if Mamukelashvili is going to move on to a new team.
Okay. Let's go Graves, 19. The reasons we're a little bit more worried on Graves, played a lot of the 5 this year. I think they could get away with playing him the 5 a little bit more, like kind of a combo with him and Murray Boyles at times, maybe in the front court. combo of him and Scotty Barnes with like all sorts of length out there. Look, the rim protection won't be great, but like he makes really quick decisions. He's really smart. Like I worry about the defense. Like I really, really worry about the defense more than anything.
And you know what you've brought up that I noticed, but didn't really like index good enough, but other people have brought up is how long it takes him to get his shot off. And I think that plays into the numbers you've brought up in terms of what is it, tier 1 and tier 2 teams versus tier 3 and whatever it was. Like his numbers are vastly better against some of the lower competition. And I do wonder if that's a product of how slow the jumper can be, because even the 3-point percentage was a pretty big gap, right? So
it was.
That's going to matter. He's going to have to speed that jumper up.
Yeah, so just the numbers here. 16 games against quad 1 and 2 teams, 18 games against quad 3 and 4 teams. Effective field goal percentage, 65% against quad 3 and 4 teams versus 50% against quad 1 and 2 teams. Offensive rebounding rate dropped. 3-point percentage dropped from 46.8% to 34.1%. Look, we're talking somewhat small samples here for sure. Like I do want to be clear about that. 62.9% to 50%, 2-point percentage is a little bit more the number I'm worried about there. But he's just a really good decision maker at the end of the day. And I think that he would really vibe with what the Raptors seemingly care about under Darko. And I think that he would probably be a very high guy on their board.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. San Antonio at 20. I think that this is where we can end the Karim Lopez slide.
Okay.
They tend to really like these guys that are big physical downhill drivers, right? And I think that Karim can definitely do that. I think they also need like a little bit of help on the glass too, like next to Wemby and things like especially in like bench units. They really like guys who do attack the glass in general. I think Karim is like the kind of guy that they tend to like, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah, I can see that. And especially if they feel like they can, I don't think Karim is going to be ready right away. I mean, we're getting into a range where like, that's probably like fair regardless.
True of a lot of guys.
Correct. Yeah. I will also say, I think this is where a lot of the bigs that are left, the Terrace Reed Jr., Jaden Quaintance, Sinak, Zuby, Vase. I think this is where those guys start to become available or like names to watch at almost every single pick. Like literally the rest of the way, Sam, outside of 1 or 2 teams, this is where I think you start at least considering those names. And even for San Antonio, I think you could make an argument for Quaintance in terms of like they could be patient with whatever the medicals may be or may not be. I think you could say, hey, Terrace Reed Jr., and then we'll be able to move Cornette or whatever if we need to and save money there. If Zuby Ejiofor is the guy they like because he can play some at the 4 with Wembanyama, all of those different things. I think this is where we start to get into all of those names. And we're going to draft those guys over the next few picks or, 6 or 7 picks. But I do think this is where it starts for a lot of those guys.
Okay. Let's do it. Someone asked, shout out for the super chat, Darren. What do you think about Joshua Jefferson for the Spurs? Is that too high? I like the player a lot for them, to be honest. I just haven't heard the name for them. That's not to say that it doesn't exist. It's just not a name that I've gotten for them yet. So
sure.
I think we can go Karim Lopez here at number 20. I think it's a totally fair question. And again, I say that as somebody, I have Joshua Jefferson a couple spots higher than Karim Lopez personally. But I would prefer Joshua Jefferson there. It's just that I think that they would do something different. This is where I think we can end the Phylon slide.
Can I make a pitch for... Pistons fans have really started to push Joshua Jefferson here at 21. So it's funny that we got that super chat from what I assume was a Spurs fan. Maybe it's not. That might be a bad assumption. But
make the pitch for Joshua Jefferson, baby, because I love me some Joshua Jefferson.
They need a 4. I mean, especially a guy that might be ready to come in and do that early. Even if they bring back Tobias Harris, let's say it's on a 2-year deal or something at a more reasonable number. Okay, great. Then Joshua Jefferson comes off the bench for a year, maybe 2 years, and then he takes over as a starter. If Joshua Jefferson is able to knock down catch and shoot threes, then We know he can really, really pass. I think he's going to be able to attack closeouts. I think I'm a touch lower on like the versatility of his point of attack defense and matchups, but I think he's going to be a good positional defender. I have so much respect for that Iowa State program. I know he's going to be in the right spots and make rotations. I think he has very active hands. Like, I do think my worry is, what if the jumper, like, what if it doesn't get there? And then now it's like, okay, well, you're playing a somewhat questionable Joshua Jefferson at the 4 with non-shooters, Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren. But again, I think you bring back Tobias, or they'll sign someone in free agency with a non-tax MLE or something to be the starter. I think there's a pitch for this, especially if it's like you have Danis Jenkins. They really believe in him. If you keep Karis LeVert, whatever, they have a very interesting summer. But I do think that if it's not Phylon, I'm lower on Abuka Okori for them. And if you're not going to go like Isaiah Evans with just the sheer floor spacing, I think Joshua Jefferson makes sense. Like, those would be kind of the 4 names for me of what's on the board. Phylon, maybe 3 names. I misspoke there. Phylon, Evans, and Joshua Jefferson.
I would just take Phylon.
Phylon's my highest rated player. I want to be clear. Of those guys, I have Phylon rated the highest. But I knew you liked Joshua Jefferson, so I thought maybe I could talk you into it.
I'm willing to hear out, because how about this? We can do Jefferson here.
Okay.
Well, no, we should do Phylon here. Phylon here makes like way more sense to me,
okay,
to be honest with you. The reason that Phylon makes sense here is we've just seen what this looks like. Like, we have seen Dennis Schroeder next to Cade Cunningham, and we know that that was super successful. And I think that Phylon has like a lot of points of comparison in some respect with Dennis Schroeder. I think he's probably a little bit more skilled at the end of the day, but Schroeder was a dude back in the day. Like, people don't remember. Dennis Schroeder started like 600 NBA games, or I don't know, I think it's 500 NBA games. Like, if LeBaron Phylon starts 500 NBA games, we should all be absolutely ecstatic. I'm not as high on Isaiah Evans as you are. Like, I have him at like 35, so I'm not quite there on this one. I think we go Phylon. He's the best player on the board, and it just like really fits what they want. Phylon, I mean, threw some people for a loop by going to see Minnesota this weekend in a workout, and I was told he performed exceedingly well in that workout. So I can see Minnesota like trying to spike up the board to go get Phylon, and man, that'd be really fun, I think, next to Ant. But I think we go Phylon here.
Works for me.
Okay. At 22, can I have the conversation about them taking a guard, the 76ers?
Sure.
I think people think of it as like, they have Tyrese Maxey and they have VJ Edgecombe. Why would you take another guard? Who is the other guy that you think can handle the ball on this team?
Jared. I don't know.
That was very rude. That was so rude. This is my, like, yes, you could in theory say Paul George can handle the ball, right? But like, you don't want Paul George bringing the ball up the court every game. Like, they literally do not have another ball handler.
Who's providing rim pressure, right? Because like, you can run offense through Joel Embiid, but at this point in his career, Joel Embiid's not like pressuring the rim in that way. Even Paul George, I think when at his best was just knocking down jumpers at a high level from the mid-range and the 3-point line, right?
Yeah. And look, like in general, I will be very clear here. I would just take Koa Pete. Like, I think Koa Pete is exactly what they need. He's physical. He's strong. He rebounds. Like, I think he'd be a great fit with Joel Embiid particularly. I think you can make a case for Joshua Jefferson here for Philadelphia. I have been a huge fan of Joshua Jefferson to Philadelphia in general. I kind of wonder if like just take, if you think a guard is the best player, like take a guard.
So are you high enough on Okori? Because he's the only one left.
I don't really mind Okori here.
Okay.
And like I get that feels like kind of crazy a little bit, but you could also take the best big if you want to. Like
I was gonna say,
backup big. Like honestly, they could kind of do whatever they want here. Like they have the ability to take best player available, I think.
Yeah, so like to me right now, it's like Koa Pete, it's Terrace Reed Jr., it's Abuko Okori. It's obviously Jaden Quaintance. I don't think Philly's the team that can take Jaden Quaintance. Like that, just
they
my
can't
opinion.
take Jaden Quaintance. That's the one player they probably can't take.
Correct. So like to me, it would be Pete, Terrace Reed Jr., Abuko Okori. And to your point, we're all of the different, archetype of players right there, and they can go either any of those.
Yep. I think we go, oh man. I don't know. What do you want to do? I'm really open here. You can make a pick.
This is an interesting idea. It truly is. I had not really thought about guards.
They genuinely do not have another ball handler on the roster right now.
Yeah. So I think this probably comes down to free agency and what the collective plan is for them, what they think they can bring back. What do they think about a Dembona? It's like as drum, all of those things.
I will say this, if Phylon was to fall here, I would just take, I would actually really run to the podium to take Phylon.
Sure. I think that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. Let's take a Corey and see what happens.
Okay.
Just see how the rest of things go with the.
For what it's worth, another option here for them. I just want to bring this up. I like the idea of them trading down and trying to get more picks. If they could move 22 for 24 and 31, even if they have to add a second round pick, I would love that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's go, Corey. I'm good with that. 23, the Atlanta Hawks. So the run on guards has happened.
And this plays out, right? Remember whenever we did the whole game theory with this, they took the guard at 8, and then now they still have every big that I said 10 minutes ago still is available.
Yep. So you can go Sinak, you can go Terrace Reed, you can go, if you consider Koa Pete a big, you can go Koa Pete. You could go Quaintance, you could go, they have a lot of options here too.
I would take,
go ahead.
I would take Terrace Reed Jr. here, but
I kind of like Terrace Reed here.
Okay. I know I'm a little bit higher than consensus on him. But I think this makes a lot of sense for Atlanta with the way things have gone and what they've done already in, I guess, free agency or what the offseason, I guess, is the best way of saying that. I know we usually end up with him to New York at 24. And to your point a second ago, Sam, why would New York give up 24 and 31 to go to 22? This is a potential scenario if they have Terrace Reed Jr., above, hey, we can't take Quaintance because of the medicals. Zuby doesn't fit quite as much of what we're looking for, doesn't all of that. Okay, we're going to jump Atlanta at 23, and we're going to go get him at 22. So I really like Terrace Reed Jr. Right here. I think this would be an awesome fit.
I think this would be a really good fit as well. I think this makes a ton of sense for them. They need a big, body on the interior who can actually move his feet. I think this is a good compliment for Okongwu. And the other thing with Sinak is they already have Asa Newell. You take another combo 4-5 when you already are developing Newell.
Trying to develop both of them.
One at that.
Correct. Yes.
I don't really like Sinak here for them. So
I agree.
I would go Terrace Reed here, I think, at 23.
Yep. Love it.
So now the Knicks are up at 24. And the run on bigs has now started a little bit. I think we have Zuby on the board here.
Yep.
I think that, I think Isaiah Evans is a name here that they'll consider, if only because you can see a world where Isaiah Evans fills the Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson, really need a floor spacer out there kind of vibe. I think that would actually really work. I think they could be a Quaintance team. Like, I don't know how their medical staff will sort through and parse the Quaintance medical, but like I I don't mind Quaintance here. I don't mind Isaiah Evans here. I think that there are options.
Like what about Koa Pete or even Jefferson? Like playing that position. Towns' ability to space the floor, I think, helps, especially with Koa Pete. This is a spot where, again, I'm a touch lower on Zuby Ejiofor than some, but I think this is one where it starts to really make sense because he could play with Towns. Koa Pete is the highest rated player on my board. And then it's Quaintance.
My issue is that they really like to play 5 out as much as they can.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Koa ticks that.
Then why does Joshua Jefferson not make a ton of sense here? Especially if it depends on what world we're operating in terms of Mitchell Robinson.
So like I like Jefferson as like I think he probably will shoot at some point, but I think it's a question for sure. Like
and
he
definitely
one good
doesn't
year
have
of like small sample shooting.
Yeah.
I think we go Evans. I'm just going to be honest. I think we go Evans.
That works.
And like I'm not opposed to the Quaintance idea, but I think Evans makes more sense for them. Because here's the other thing too. The reason I like going wing here is you can then go. I think that one of the bigs is going to fall.
I agree with this.
To them at 31.
Yeah.
And you can then just get a big at 31.
I think I agree with this. We'll see how it plays out, but I think this is probably right. The only way we'll get to 31 and we can talk about it then. So, yep.
Okay. 25, the Lakers. I don't have a great fit here for the Lakers, if I'm being honest with you. Because around Luka, you want to have like floor spacing and size and defensive ability. Like, I'm not a big Senat guy in that regard, like, or in any of these regards. I mean, they could take the risk on Quaintance, but maybe like, I've honestly been wondering, is Malik Thomas a fit here? Just as a shoot, like, go get you a shooter.
Yeah, sure. I was actually
Vesar is like kind of an interesting player.
I was going to bring up Vesar. I'm a little bit lower. Not a ton, not where it's unreasonable, but it's like, okay, depending, I don't know what their big man plan is otherwise, but this would give you the theoretical floor spacing, kind of change up, that's different than the rim running lob threat that I assume they're going to go acquire somehow.
Like, here's the thing too. So like John in the comments brings up, Lakers would go Quaintance for Luka. Quaintance is not really a Luka big on offense because he is not at all like a rim runner. Like he doesn't have a big vertical. It doesn't really work that way.
He is the defender though man.
I think my names here are Malik Thomas. I think that they are, honestly, like if they were going to lose Rui, which it seems like they want to keep Rui, but like Joshua Jefferson makes a ton of sense here.
Yeah. Especially if they were to lose LeBron as well. Just somebody, I think I like Joshua Jefferson here.
You like Joshua Jefferson here?
Yeah.
Smart. Potential to shoot, potential to defend. I mean, here's the other thing too. Like, I think that this is like a real synergy spot for, hey, the Lakers need to figure out whatever they're doing in terms of their cap situation. If LeBron's coming back, if Reeves is coming back, if Rui's coming back, everything like that. But Gafford for 25 is pretty interesting to me. Or like Gafford for 25. Gafford and stuff for 25 is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I would do that if I was the Lakers. for sure.
Yeah. And someone asked, why would the Mavs want 9, 25, and 30? Because they don't have access to their own first round pick. They have a couple of first rounders in there, but they don't have access to their own first round picks for any of the next 4 years. And on top of it, new front office wants their like new players, particularly Mike, who is a guy who loves the draft, fantastic evaluator, obviously. And then someone asked, why would Dallas trade Gafford for the 25th pick? We just gave them Mara up top. So, we have Mara at 9 here. You have Mara and Lively as your 2 long-term center options. You now can move Gafford for one of these picks that would be valuable. So I kind of think that something like this works, but I'm willing to just take Jefferson here and just let it roll.
Okay.
Keep rolling.
Yep. Sure.
26 is Denver.
The Nuggets.
So this is where I want to put Koa Pete.
Interesting. Okay.
This is a home run to me.
Okay.
Because then you're putting him in like the Aaron Gordon. Hey, he gets to learn from Aaron Gordon for the next little while. Honestly, could you sneak some lineups of Koa Pete and Aaron Gordon at the 4-5 behind Jokic?
Yeah. Sure.
Like, could that be something that works?
Yeah. And you, like you say, like Jokic, plays out away from the basket a lot, which opens up the dunker spot for Koa Pete. I like his potential defensively. I think this is a nice play at 26 for the Nuggets.
I think this makes a ton of sense. I will say the other thing we brought up for Denver as well is them moving this pick to cut salary. Like, could you do Cam Johnson and 26 for Day'Ron Sharp in 35, where it's like Brooklyn is literally getting the better player and the better pick, but Denver is cutting like 18 million in salary.
Yeah.
And getting a backup center, which they've desperately needed behind Jokic for literally almost a decade now, it feels like.
Yeah. And you're still in the top 35 of the draft with a pick that's, you can roster a guy on a second round contract.
Totally. Like something like that really works for me. Like, or if it's the Bulls, right? Could you get Jalen Smith for 26 and 30?
Yeah.
Cam Johnson and 26 for Jalen Smith in 38 or something. That helps Denver cut salary, allows them to re-sign Peyton Watson. That to me is the thing that makes the most sense, to me at least, for Denver to do, given their priorities. I would wish that Denver would just pay through the nose and give Jokic the best chance to succeed, but it feels like they're trying to save some money. So I do at least want to present those opportunities here. But in this case, let's take Koa Pete at 26.
I will say just real quick, if the Bulls or the Nets did that, I would take Jaden Quaintance for them.
If the Bulls or the Nets did that, you would take Jaden Quaintance. I don't think I would do that if I was the Nets.
I think that those are teams that can be patient with him, that like have the necessary patience for him, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Regardless, we're going to take Quaintance here at 27.
Pete. Oh, at 27. Sorry.
Yeah. We're going to take Quaintance at 27 to me.
Okay.
Because this is just like the Rob Williams situation all over again, in my opinion. Where you have a guy who, there are some questions about the knee. Let's take like the lottery level talent. They've clearly shown that they're willing to do this, obviously. I have no problem with them taking Jaden Quaintance here at 27.
Yep, it works for me.
And again, might not be their pick.
Yeah.
28, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm kind of open to a lot here too, to be honest with you.
So to me,
I think they probably want like big time guard, but
I was going to say Malik Thomas or Sergio De La Reyna. Like those are the two names that are jumping out to me. Am I missing somebody?
I think De La Reyna is a good name here.
De La Reyna, sorry.
To be honest with you. Yeah. I think De La Reyna is a good name.
Cool.
Do you want to explain why De La Reyna is a good name for the Timberwolves?
Yeah, so this is our first true overseas pick?
Could be. Actually could be, yeah.
Is it? I'm trying to think if that's played for Valencia, shot almost 40% from three across all leagues this year, 80% from the free throw line, can pass a little bit. He was a guy that evaluating last year, I was a little bit lower on, but really came around this season, like fluid mover, like those things, can create with the ball in his hands a little bit. But as I said, the shooting also off the dribble, beautiful no dip catch and shoot three, can do a little bit of both. And I'm interested. I don't remember where you went. I thought the defense was vastly improved this second season watching him than the first.
Agree.
Yeah, the first year was like bad, rough, not very good. And then I thought in year two, the activity went up, the impact was picking up full court. I thought it got much, much better this last season watching him play.
Yeah, so I really like De La Rey to start this year. He went through a bit of a lull later in the year, then got really good again, or got like solid again later in the year. 6'6" guard. He like legit plays point guard a lot of the time for Valencia. Can really pass the ball. The key is like doesn't get a lot of rim pressure, but is an on-ball, off-ball threat for a guy that could play next to Anthony Edwards. I really like it. The other thing I will say here, so like measurement-wise, he's a legit 6'6" without shoes. That measurement came in. He's also 204 pounds. So if you're watching on Spotify or on YouTube and you see 174 here, he came in at 204 pounds at the combine. So it's a little bit better than what people think there. Really smart player though. I'm all in on De La Rey as a like later first option. And then at 29, I think the Cavs just need like a backup center or like a backup big or something. This is another team that I will note. I've gotten some like trade down, trade out kind of vibes just so they don't have the locked in money on 29 and then maybe can go with like a cheaper deal at number 32 or 35 or whatever pick they could get for this, just in terms of this team is immensely expensive and they're trying to maybe cut money a little bit. I like Vesar or I like Zuby here.
I would go Zuby.
You go Zuby? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm into Zuby. Zuby's an awesome defender, can play both the 4 and the 5 in theory. I think that's probably a little bit better for this team than what Vesar would be.
That was
and then at 30 with Dallas we have here. Do you just want to give them a shooter with Malik Thomas?
It pains me to go Malik Thomas before Richie Saunders. I mean, yes, I understand.
We still haven't found a spot for Sinak is the problem.
I know. I thought about that.
But like, I don't think the Cavs are going to want to take Sinak because he's like so far away and they need a big.
Yeah. And Dallas, we already took Mara. They still have Lively, like all of that. I mean, here's what I've been pitching to people over the last couple of days whenever I've gone on some of these podcasts, that you've done as well and really hit it home with GMAC on the Knicks. Somebody really interesting is going to be there at 31. Like I tried to pitch to him today that at 31, they're either going to have a really, exciting maybe is probably aggressive, but they're going to have some really good options, or they may have some really good offers to trade into or up to 31, especially where this is a 2-day thing now and teams have a chance to decide like how much they want to give up to do it. So it may be Sinak, maybe it's Joshua Jefferson, maybe it's Ejiofor, like maybe it's Malik Thomas. It's going to be somebody, right? Like you can say we should have taken Sinak somewhere, but then that means one of these other guys we've already taken is then available. Not to mention that Vesar's still here, Caravan's still here, Richie Saunders is still here.
Yeah. Look, the reality of what this is given the rumors about the Pelicans would move up for Sinak somewhere in the 20s and would just do this, right? Like Sinak would not fall out of the first. Sinak is not going to fall out of the first round. Yeah. Someone is going to move up and get him is the reality. I think we go, like, given the way that this fell, I think we take Malik Thomas at the end of the day and just call it. But, like, for instance, if the Lakers pick at 25, like, if I'm the Lakers, like, in New Orleans is calling and they really want Chris Sinak, like, I'm probably trading 25 given what New Orleans seems like they would offer.
Sure. Yeah.
right? So like we'll call that out here at the jump. Like we have not taken Kristen Ack. It's because there isn't a great fit for him. Realistically, I think he could go like 15. Like we brought him up at 15. It's just it's a very limited spot, you know?
I almost feel like he needs to go earlier. Like just with the teams that have these picks in the 20s, I don't know that, like if Philly goes big, don't they want somebody that's ready to play? Atlanta, same thing.
So.
New York, LA, Denver, Boston. I think it's a little bit more of those things. Minnesota already has Naz Reid and is developing Jan Berenger. Like Dallas is full of bigs, especially with us taking Mara. I think that's why it gets interesting for Sinak and Quaintance, is because like finding two spots for guys who, in Quaintance's case, the medicals, is he going to be ready to play year one, all of that. And then Sinak, the development, it's almost like he needs to go in the top 20 where there's more teams are, hey, yeah, we can wait and develop him and be patient. I don't know that there's as many of those teams from 20 to 30.
Yep. Shout out to D-Rock in Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Wolverines, I wouldn't mind seeing my Brooklyn Nets trade back and use other draft to draft Mara, Yaxel, and Merez, providing we can steal Reeves from the Lakers. What do you guys say? I don't think they're going to be able to get 3 picks. I think they could easily get 2 picks and take a couple of those guys, potentially. But I don't think they'd be able to get 3 picks, realistically. And it feels like if somebody's going to build the Wolverines team, it's probably going to be the Dallas Wolverines with Dusty May going there now, too. Yeah, like it's hard because I think Sinak will go in the first round, just being abundantly clear about that.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. To recap, AJ DeBonsa, number 1 to Washington, Darren Peterson, number 2 to Utah, Cam Boozer, number 3 to Memphis, Caleb Wilson, number 4 to Chicago, Keaton Wagler, number 5 to LA, Michael Brown, number 6 to Brooklyn, Darius Acuff, number 7 to Sacramento, Kingston Flemings, number 8 to Atlanta, Adai Mara, number 9 to Dallas, Braden Burries, number 10 to Milwaukee, Yaxel Lendeborg, number 11 to Golden State, Merez Johnson, number 12 to Oklahoma City. So all 3 of the Michigan guys go off the board in the top 12. I think that makes sense to me, honestly. Nate Amon, 13 to Miami, Hans Steinbach, 14 to Charlotte, Cam Carr, 15 to Chicago, Christian Anderson, 16 to Memphis, Dalen Swain, 17 to Oklahoma City, Bennett Sturts, 18 to Charlotte, Alan Graves, 19 to Toronto, Kareem Lopez, 20 to San Antonio, LeBaron Philon, 21 to Detroit, Abuka Okori, 22 to Philly, Terrace Reed, 23 to Atlanta, Isaiah Evans, 24 to New York, Joshua Jefferson, 25 to the Lakers, Koa Pete, 26 to Denver, Jaden Quaintance, 27 to Boston, Sergio De La Rey, 28 to Minnesota, Zuby Ejiofor, 29 to Cleveland, Malik Thomas, 30 to Dallas. I think that this sets up nicely for the Knicks then to just take Henri Vesar at 31. And then
yep,
someone, would take Chris Sinak at some point. I would guess 32 would go Sinak. And at the end of the day, like I think that Sinak will, again, go in the first round. I want to be very clear about that.
Sure. I am excited to the next time we talk about this NBA draft to be actual draft picks.
That is accurate. I think we will be talking about draft picks next time. Look, if Giannis Antetokounmpo gets traded in the next hour, I might be going, Bryce, we got to go again. It's very possible, but I don't think that's going to happen. Who knows? Maybe. But regardless, appreciate everyone for being here. Appreciate everyone for coming through, hanging out. Bryce, tell the people where they can find your work. Tell the people what's going on.
At Motor City Hoops on Twitter, Blue Sky, Substack. I can't emphasize this enough. Go check out the Game Theory Substack, whether before the draft, if you want to wait till after the draft where you see what player your team selects. But I promise you, we have a great selection of video breakdowns over there that is going to cover almost every player that will be drafted, at least on Tuesday night, plus the draft shows. We'll have post-draft content over there as well. And then come join us live. If you want to be with your team's coverage, during your pick, cool. I understand that. But then jump to the Game Theory podcast where we'll be live for the entire first round and then second round as well. I won't be there on Wednesday night. I was double booked with high school football responsibilities, but Sam will be live with a different guest on Wednesday night as well. And then we'll have all sorts of post-draft coverage and off-season trades, free agency, all of that. So thank you for your support. We appreciate you all so much.
Appreciate everyone for coming through here. We had a bunch of people watching and listening to us this time. Go to The Athletic. You will get access to the NBA draft guide. It's freaking amazing. I'm so grateful to the folks over at The Athletic for building such an amazing product this year for the draft guide to be housed in. You will get breakdowns on all of the players that your teams draft. And we're talking like deep, in-depth breakdowns on all of these guys. Go over there. You will have my mock draft. It is live. I have to update it after this, to be honest with you, given some of the calls I got literally in the 2 hours that we've been live here. So we will have those conversations then. I am really, really excited to talk through a whole lot of different potential outcomes here. I think it's very possible Giannis gets traded in the next 24 hours, at least. Like Sham said earlier today that he thinks it's happening before the draft. So I would think that it's coming at some point here. We will be ready for whatever comes and whatever happens. I will probably wake up quite early, so it's not impossible that we do a stream if Giannis gets traded at like 9 a.m. to knock out the Giannis conversation before the draft show, right? But we shall see. I appreciate everyone for coming through here. We will be back tomorrow with a full draft show, and we'll be back on Tuesday for a second round draft show. I'm going to surprise you guys with who we've got coming. I'm really excited about it because this person is truly one of my favorite human beings to talk about the NBA draft with. So I'm excited about that. Keep it locked here. Go subscribe. Hit the subscribe on the Substack. But until next time, we'll talk soon.